I mean, this hurricane has been a bad one. Kamala Harris has left them stranded. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever. Probably worse than Katrina, and that's hard to beat, right?
We are 30 days out from Election Day, and that means Donald Trump is doing everything he can to pull his dying and collapsing campaign out of the ditch that it is in. And for some reason, the way that he thinks he's going to do that is more rallies, more interviews, and more instances in which he is speaking, which is the worst thing that he could possibly do. Because as we know, every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, that instantly backfires on him for two reasons. One of which, the thing that he says is absolutely ridiculous, insane, or a lie. Or two, the thing that he wants to say doesn't actually happen, and that happens increasingly more often as we see Donald Trump fail to speak, and we saw that a lot today at his rally. And for some reason, this rally was shot from a weird side angle, but it makes it so much better because you can see the concerned faces of all of the MAGA rally goers behind him as Donald Trump really just melts down. But like I said, his campaign is just dying at this point, and we will see a clip that shows just how true those words are a little bit later. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy our channel and want to be a part of the community that we are building every single day. Now let's get into this first very, very strange clip.
We need double the electricity that we have right now. Who would think that? So what we have right now, you need doubled, and we will get that done. We'll have to do something with respect to the environment, because under the environmental impact statements right now, it would take you 20 years to build anything having to do with electric or anything, any form of energy. We're going to do an expedited plan where it'll be done in a matter of like weeks or months. We've got to get it done. We cannot do these impact statements that take years and years and years. People are working on a project. They start off as young men and women, and by the time they're old and retired, the project gets rejected.
Nothing could more perfectly encapsulate the policy of Donald Trump's campaign like saying, we're going to double energy. I don't know how, but we will. And then telling a rambling story that doesn't make sense of people who work on a project for 20 years and then it gets rejected. And they've grown old. They have this giant beard. I don't know. It's like something you'd see out of like a weird movie. But that is the mind of Donald Trump at this point. It is just complete mush up there. And we can tell that, of course. But it seems like he wants us to know how dumb he is. And he pretty much proved that with what he said right here.
But they want Starlink. So I said, whatever it is, let's sell. I called Elon. I say, and you can't get it. It's really popular. It's very hard to get. But they need it, and they need big doses of it, like fast. And I'm calling Elon. I said, Elon, in North Carolina and parts of Georgia, and the governor is doing a very good job, by the way, in Georgia, I have to say. A very good job. But in parts of Georgia and in real big parts of North Carolina, they need something called Starlink. I don't know what the hell it is.
So Trump is accomplishing two things with this ridiculous diet tribe. What, right? Here one. He's telling us how stupid he is that he doesn't know what Starlink is. It's simply a better internet connection for areas affected by maybe a natural disaster, like we saw with those communities affected by Hurricane Helen. And Donald Trump is actually also showing that he doesn't care about those affected by the storm. Because if he did, and he was focused on the situation on the ground, he would know that there are power lines and telephone lines that are down, preventing people from communicating with authorities, their family members, people in their community. But of course, Donald Trump doesn't actually care about that. He just wants the photo op, and he just wants to lie about the situation in President Biden and Vice President Harris's response. And of course, yes, he also wants to show us how stupid he is by not knowing what the thing he's talking about actually is, when it's a pretty simple concept there. But another simple concept Donald Trump couldn't grasp in this speech before we get to the meltdown of non-words that he spewed is the idea that maybe in America, we don't want a dictator. And you can tell he doesn't get that right here.
So I have to be careful with this. I said once about a month ago, you only have to vote this one time, and after that, everything will be good. And the fake news said, see, he wants to be a dictator and take over the country. No, that's not what. I said, we got to fix the country, got to make sure, and then the country will be great, and we're going to have, hopefully, some great person, whether it's JD or somebody else. And when the great Sean Hannity asked me a question, and I jokingly said, he said, okay, let's get this up. You don't want to be a dictator, do you? I said, Sean, I only want to be a dictator for one day.
What is this argument that he only wants to be a dictator on day one? So it's fine. No, we want someone who doesn't want to be a dictator on any day. That's what democracy is. We have a president. We have checks and balances. Did you take a civics class? He still doesn't understand how our government works. Does he? That is the reason why I want another debate. And I've said this before, not for VP Harris to grill Donald Trump with specifics. Yes, she could. And it would be amazing. But no, ask him simple questions. What are the three branches of government? How do checks and balances work? What is a tariff? Things he could not define, understand, or say. And speaking of Donald Trump not being able to speak, I want to play the compilation of all of his verbal miscues during the speech and look at the people in the background for their shocked reactions because they're just so funny now. Let's take a look.
Ones don't vote. I love these people. Evangelicals don't vote relatively, like a very small. With 4 more years of Kamala, every Wisconsin small town and Midwestern, the Midwestern cities are just devastated by this.
The man is quite literally melting down before our eyes. It keeps getting worse and worse. And it's not just that his nonsense gets stranger, but his attacks and lies continue to get more dangerous. And the response to Hurricane Helen is a perfect example. There are people not seeking out resources from FEMA because of the conspiracies that Donald Trump has pushed. And we see more of those in this clip right here.
This hurricane has been a bad one. Kamala Harris has left them stranded. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever. Probably worse than Katrina, and that's hard to beat, right? Worse than Katrina. They didn't do too good a job either, but this is worse. And she sends their money to foreign nations. He and she, they send hundreds of billions of dollars. They send hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign nations.
Everything from Donald Trump, of course, comes with a bit of projection, and as we always say, every Republican attack is really just a confession of who they are. It's just an accusation equates to a confession from Republicans. And it was Donald Trump who didn't want to send aid to California in the wake of their wildfires. It was Donald Trump who sent Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina 1% of the requested aid that he needed in 2017. So of course he's lying here, just like how he was lying about 60 Minutes right here.
Kamala has proven that she cannot be trusted and she can't do the job. First of all, she's grossly incompetent. I don't care. She doesn't do interviews. They said, why doesn't she do? Because she is incompetent. She can't answer the question. She can't answer anything. And I don't know, they want to do 60 Minutes. Remember, I had it out with them last time because they had the laptop from hell, and they said it was from Russia. I said, no, it was from Hunter. I turned out to be right. Remember Leslie Stahl? She's another real heavyweight. Leslie Stahl, we got into like an argument on 60 Minutes, and I turned out to be right. But to the best of my knowledge, I have not received an apology. That was a big deal at the time. She said, "How dare you? You shouldn't say that. This was from Russia." I said, "It wasn't from Russia. It was from Hunter." Oh, it's terrible. So we're waiting for an apology. They want to do it again. I'll do it again, but they got to apologize. Don't you think I should make them apologize?
I don't know why he would want to bring up the fact that not only did he run away from a debate with Vice President Harris, but he couldn't manage to do an interview with 6 Minutes because he was so scared and then was complaining that they treated him poorly, which isn't true. They interviewed him. And I guess that's how Donald Trump views being treated poorly, is when someone pushes back against his lies, when they say the truth that is the biggest offense to him that there ever could be. And it gets him really angry. And speaking of angry, I said at the beginning of this video that there was a perfect analogy for the dying Trump campaign during the speech. And so I want to take a look at what that was.
A coal plant a week. I don't like flies. Get out of here, fly. Never been a big fan of flies. You don't mind my bringing that up, do you?
Now we've been seeing more and more flies circling Donald Trump during his speeches. And what else do flies like to circle 1-2 things that are dead? I think Donald Trump, you got both of those. You got them both locked down. Good for you, man. Not great for your campaign. Not good for you. Certainly great for us, the democracy, loving people. People who are tired of having a criminal running for president. Yeah, it's good for us. And do you know who else might be great for the person that Donald Trump was attacking in the most ridiculous way? Right here.
Under a man named Barack Hussein Obama. Remember Rush Limbaugh?
Oh God, can we all agree? We're tired of hearing his voice, seeing his face dealing with day to day. I'd love for him to do one of those and go away. I don't need to hear the bits anymore. We don't need to hear the fear, mongering of the attacks. Let's wrap it up. Let's turn the page. November 5th. We are so close. Let's make it happen, and we're going to keep talking about that on this show every single day. So if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments or just say, hello? I'd love to say hi back, and until next time, I'll see you soon.